Food and justice. These two words are intrinsically essential to our human survival and our spiritual connection to the sacred. Food sustains us, nourishes us, and at times even comforts us. Food is often considered a blessing and a delight. However, the tangible food that we need and desire is also burdened with hidden injustices. According to researcher Patricia Allen, justice requires the following: that basic human needs are met, that there is freedom from exploitation and oppression, and that all have access to opportunity and participation. When the words food and justice are linked together, food justice becomes an invitation for all people to unite against the inequalities that exist around food in our world, in our nation, as well as in our local community. Food justice is a wide, expansive term that encompasses many social justice branches. In the most basic sense, food justice includes where, what, and how food is grown, produced, transported, accessed, and eaten. Food justice includes attention to and action against worker exploitation, environmental degradation, and the unjust distribution of food. Food accessibility is a major concern for many food justice advocates. Studies show that in many low-income neighborhoods, grocery stores are few, but fast food restaurants are plenty. Food deserts exist in places where access to healthy food is scarce. The USDA Economic Research Service defines a food desert as an area with limited access to affordable and nutritious food, particularly such an area composed of predominantly lower-income neighborhoods and communities. The USDA Food Desert Map shows us that there are 33 census tracts that are considered food deserts in Tulsa County. The green boxes indicate low-income census tracts where a significant number or share of residents is more than 1 urban mile or 20 rural miles away from the nearest supermarket. In the United States, eating a healthy diet that includes fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains is a class-based privilege. Junk food is cheap, convenient, and available. Alfonso Morales, an urban planner, states, "Many Americans, particularly low-income people and people of color, are overweight yet malnourished. They face the overwhelming variety of processed foods, but are unable to produce a well-balanced diet from the liquor stores and mini-marts that dominate their neighborhoods." In Tulsa, there is a 14-year difference in life expectancy between the population in North Tulsa and the population in South Tulsa. Although this discrepancy between North and South is caused by many issues, food accessibility has been shown to be one of the main factors. When living in a food desert, people need reliable transportation in order to purchase healthy, nutritious food. However, adequate transportation is a huge problem for many Tulsa County residents. Statistics show that 80,000 people who live in Tulsa do not have adequate transportation. That is 1 in 5 people. This all leads to some important questions. How can we bring low-income people without transportation together with the healthy foods that their bodies need? And what role should the church and the community play in helping to provide people in need access to healthy food? The Community Food Security Coalition defines food security as all persons obtaining at all times a culturally acceptable, nutritionally adequate diet through local, non-emergency sources. This perspective views hunger and food insecurity as community issues that need to be solved by the community. Churches also need to be involved in this effort to combat hunger. Although churches have always been at the heart of community life, they have not always worked closely with other denominational or faith bodies, let alone other community organizations. By building bridges between churches and community organizations and connecting churches of many different denominations, we could transform the food experience for many. Tulsa area organizations and churches provide food to our neighbors who are hungry in many different ways. Tulsa has wonderful community gardens and successful food pantries. There is a mobile grocery store and community cafes. Tulsa also has remarkable farmers markets. A farmers market is one of the best places to get healthy, locally grown fresh fruits and vegetables, dairy, breads, and meats. Local farmers depend on local customers to support their livelihood, and many people in Tulsa desperately need access to the foods they provide. In 2010, the Tulsa Farmers Market began accepting SNAP, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program monies. That year, the farmers market was able to do $3,000 in SNAP business. Over the next 4 years, senior nutrition vouchers were added to the program, and grants were given to provide double-up food bucks for those people using SNAP. Double-up food bucks doubles a person's buying power by doubling their money up to $20 to be used on fresh fruits and vegetables. In 2014, the Tulsa Farmers Market brought in $64,000 in SNAP and senior nutrition business. This is an amazing increase. Instead of SNAP money being used at big chain grocery stores to purchase food that has most likely traveled hundreds of miles to be delivered, SNAP money could be spent on local fresh food that was produced by local farmers. There is $11.2 million in SNAP money distributed to Tulsa County families every month. 1/3 of that money is spent at Walmart. Redirecting even a portion of that money could make a great impact on the lives of local farmers and the health of local consumers. In an effort to connect church and community around the issue of food justice, a pilot trip to the Tulsa Farmers Market was organized in July of 2015. Northsiders Day at the Farmers Market was promoted through the Welcome Table Community Center in Turley, Oklahoma, and Prince of Peace Lutheran Church located at Quaker in Peoria. All Souls Unitarian Church provided the needed 15-passenger van to transport participants, and Fellowship Lutheran Church provided the funds for gas. On the day of the event, 11 people experienced the Tulsa Farmers Market, 8 for the very first time. Some people were able to use their SNAP money, and some used their senior nutrition vouchers. Others just brought cash and were excited to have the transportation to the market. Lucretia Topa, who had no source of transportation, brought her daughter along to the farmers market. Lucretia was amazed at the multitude of local farmers and all of their products. She left with a bag of fresh vegetables and whole grain breads. Marianne, a single mother, enjoyed the trip as well. She and her daughter Rosa were excited to be a part of a social event. Being in community and going together is part of the fun, Marianne said. She left with several bags of vegetables, dairy products, and was most excited about the organ meat that she was able to buy very inexpensively. Although Norma wasn't a fan of the heat, she loved the trip to the farmers market. "I enjoy seeing all of the flowers and veggies," she said. "I also was able to ask questions about how to use fresh garlic." Abigail and her baby girl Luna also went to the farmers market. Her favorite part about the trip was the ability to get a wider variety of goods and produce than are normally available to her family. Every person who attended the pilot trip to the farmers market stated that if transportation was provided, they were highly likely to attend on a regular basis. Most of them commented about how much they enjoyed going together with other people. It was a wonderful day that showed the power and success of bringing churches and community organizations together to make a difference in the lives of others. Nancy Bedford reminds us that both food and theology have to do with sharing, with specific acts of love. Both have to do with bringing together the smallest daily acts and structural and cosmological dimensions of life. More than a ride to the farmers market was shared that day. People and food came together, and those involved shared not only their resources, but their time, their stories, and their hope and love. I can only imagine the wonderful food that was prepared and shared around the dinner tables that night. From the Nigerian stew that Marianne was going to make and the fresh ears of corn that Miss Della was excited to grill, there were full bellies and happy hearts. Working in collaboration, church and community can accomplish great things. Anatole France said, "To accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe." May church and community continue to actively work together to plan and act to ensure that all people have access to healthy food. And may church and community also dream and believe that it can be so.